We now return you to your regularly scheduled program. Welcome back to the shop on the channel and the final episode of restoring, updating, whatever, Mara's sewing machine table. So these are the knobs that Mara chose. They're a porcelain kind of thing. So all four drawers have these nice new knobs. I had to remove the original knobs and put in plugs, which are face grain plugs, not end grain plugs. I've got plug cutters for that. Link in the description. These are all done, and they're done to the finished level of the originals, which is not great. You see what I mean by, parts that were never stained and whatever in the originals. So I kind of want to duplicate that a little bit. I know, it made me twitch. The parts, these have been pre-drilled, as I said, and everything's been cut in the back, as you saw earlier, for the beading and whatever. The little middle drawer is done. See, that's the new piece right there. It's maybe another coat of shellac, but anyway, there's the middle piece. I think in camera it looks a little different than the other one, but it works. So there's that. The screws I'm replacing. Now, the original screws I found out were brass, and they've been painted over, and that's ugly. So I bought new brass screws for going in here. And McMaster car for the win. If you need anything, link in the description. I've said it before. If it's not in their catalog, you don't need it or want it. 400 and some odd thousand items in their catalog, and their website is extremely easy to navigate to get to where you want to go. And it's been that way since they first came online. So little tiny screws, not tiny, but brass screws. The straight parts, these backs here on the inside, when you're looking at the sewing machine table, are nailed in place with round head nails. And I'm going to use some brass. You probably can't see these in camera. These little brass nails. There they are, brass nails. And to nail those in place. Now what I need to do first is I need to pre-drill for these pieces, the split turning, so to put the screws in, because it's like you drive screws into unpre-drilled holes, especially when they're straight slotted screws to duplicate the originals. So let's get that busy. I'll go ahead and we'll pre-drill those, and then I'll start assembling this part here to replicate this part here. From the original, I measured this distance here from this outer edge to where this piece is going to rest. And I did it all four corners here, and I've got these two in place. I haven't put the third one in here. I'll do that after I get this situated and set up. And then I'll go ahead and put the middle one in, make sure it's perfectly in line with these edges. I have a little square up here that's going to help me hopefully get it straight. This is the drill, clearance drill for the screws that are going in. I'm going to do all four corners here, and that'll basically bind these together in the shape they need to be. And let's give it a shot. I was going to use a transfer punch, but I think I'm good here. Now that was, notice the magic blue tape. And now we screw it in. Oopsie. Now I can take this off. And of course I'm going to clock the screws. So that slot's going in this direction, vertical. There, it's nice and tight. Now we'll do this one over here. I might go a little deeper with the drill. It can go through this piece, and it really doesn't matter because that's never going to be seen, but you know how it is. Got to get it right. So you get a general idea how this works. There we go. And now I can remove that. And that screw is clocked to the vertical. Okay, so those two are in place. Let me do the other ones, and we'll come back and do the middle one. 4 screws are in place nicely. Let me just lift this up a little bit, get this in place where it needs to be, and do the measurement. There we go. Yeah, it's got to come this way a little bit. There we go. So that's in place now, and I need to do these holes. Yep. Yeah, it all matches up. So just for accuracy's sake, oops. All right, gotta measure it again. Yeah, I want to see if I can clamp this there, because I want to make sure that it stays in place while I'm drilling the holes, because you know things move. There we go. Oops, there we don't go. There we go. There's the drill. And let's get this hole drilled. Get in there. There we go. Fastened together with the nice brass screws. And now the fun part here is doing the nailing on this side, where these parts are going to go. I'm going to have to pre-drill these, and these are closer to the edge. Oops, goes this big one. So these are going to be closer to the edge, right about there. And these get a nail hole through where the channel is here. If you can see that in the camera, there's a channel here. That's where the nail holes go, and that's where we're going to nail it in place. And once I get this one done, I can do this and I can do this, and then we're ready to proceed with the rest of this. What I've done at the drill press is I've pilot drilled the holes for the nails that are going to go in, clamped them in place, taken the same drill bit, 16th inch, and now I'm going to use these as guide holes to drill into the dividers so the nails will drive in a little easier. Okay, now that you've seen how that works, I'll do the other one. And then I'll set up this whole thing to do the reassembly up here on the bench with the table and all that good stuff. And then Mara will have her more drawers. Like so. Isn't that special? And now, different day, it's time for assembly. What I have here is one of my little mechanics magnetic buckets that holds all the screws that are in here. I wound up having to refasten the base because the screws were pulling out. I had to move it back about a ½ inch, drill new holes, and put some number 10 3/4 inch wood screws in to hold it back in place. Don't pick these things up by the top if they're old. So now I need to put in, first I'm going to put in the original one first. Of course, that's all the holes are drilled and everything. And I remember that the part that holds the leaf up has to go to the outside. And I'll just stick that there, kinda, and find a screw. and line it up with a hole. And this will give me the positioning for the new one easily. And get out the camera away. Oops. Didn't get in the hole. Did I get it? Did I not get in to the hole there? There it is. There we go. All right. So let's put this one down a little bit. You can see how interesting this is. You got to get way up here. Put the screwdriver down way down in there. And let's get this one in place now. You can see how the new brass exposed screws look much better than the painted brass ones that came out of here. You're not really going to be able to see these because it's buried underneath, but we'll know they're there. All right, now let's do the other one with some modern screws. This is where this one's going to go, obviously opposite the other one. What I discovered when I stuck this up here on top of the thing on the bottom, this had a set of drawers on this side originally. Not surprising. So I need to drill 4 holes. I don't want to get them in the same place because, so let me mark that. A little Sharpie mark where I want the holes. There's a relation to the old holes. It's in the base, it's in the top. So that's where I want the holes. Now I got to drill 4 clearance holes for some number 8. Should do it. Number 8 countersunk screws. Countersunk. Anyway, let me get the clearance holes drilled, and then we'll do the pilot holes for the actual screws themselves in the top. Got the clearance holes drilled. I got this mounted where I want, and I clamped it in place so it won't move. And this is where having extensions for your drills come in handy. I think this was Amazon, and that's just a large square drive bit. So let me start the screws in their holes here. So now I can get this relatively straight angle here. So they are mounted. Mara has more drawer space now. So let's take a look at this assembled on the floor. But before we do that, a couple of things. This piece of metal that I was thinking about discarding turns out to be a bobbin lint tray. Basically grabs any lint from the bobbin area of the machine, sewing machine, that kind of fluffs off and falls down, and this catches it. And you got to clean it once in a while. And I needed to put this drawer in and fit it correctly. So the little tiny middle drawer is now in place and has stops like it's supposed to. The screw holes were still there. So it only comes out so far. So now, let me drag it over there to the floor, put the other drawers into, and we'll take a look at the work. And here we are. Center drawer, 3 pockets for stuff. And that slides in nicely, and it's got stops on it so it doesn't come all the way out. The 4 drawers now for Mara to put all the things that she wants to put in there. Like, what do we need for a sewing machine? I don't know. Here's the before picture of it in place, and here's the after picture of it in place. So that's it. Sewing machine is complete. Sewing machine table is complete. So until next time, make great things out of wood and do another restoration.